Hello, and let's talk about the styrene gas leak in Vishakhapatnam. Over 10 people are believed to have died and hundreds are in hospital following the leak of the poisonous styrene gas from the LG Polymers chemical plant in the city. Thousands more may have fallen sick. Political leaders have expressed concern and relief operations are underway. The state and national disaster response forces have been deployed and the Navy is also providing assistance. The gas leaks took place around 3 am in the morning, and today we saw visuals of people lying unconscious on the ground or fainting. Government officials told the media that the leak happened after there was an attempt to restart the plant, which had been shut during the lockdown. A key worry is that the plant is close to the Megadhigada water reservoir, which supplies the city. NewsClick spoke to EAS Sarma, former Secretary, Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, who is also an activist on the leak and who is responsible.
Dr. Sharma, we have sketchy information, but the information that we have, if I can summarize there for you, at roughly 2:30 a.m. in the morning, there was a leak of styrene gas from the factory of LG Polymers, which is located roughly 14 kilometers from Vishakhapatnam city in a village called Venkatpuram near Pendurthi. Now, this particular plant had been inactive for a while and due to the lockdown, and when it was restarted, this gas leaked out. As of now, the information that I'm getting from various websites and news websites say that at least 13 people have been killed, including a child, and over 1,000 individuals have fallen sick. 800 of them were admitted to hospital and about 600 have been discharged and 200 kept under observation. What is the latest information that you have from Vizag?
More or less the same information I have because I watch the TV screens and the lockdown restrictions, so nobody can really go there. And whatever the government discloses, the police, the district administration, that's what we hear. But then to summarize, it's a very, very bad accident. There was a similar accident about 6-7 years ago, about 60 miles south of Vishakhapatnam, one private chemical factory, and a similar gas explosion. And villagers in 4 villages ran away. At the time also, we protested. And we asked the government to take action against the promoters of that industry and the officers responsible for regulating industrial safety and pollution. No action was taken. So at the time itself, I said, since the government had not taken any action, such accidents are likely to repeat. So what we see today is a repetition, the occurrence of such an accident.
It's unfortunate. I'm going to get back to you on a few questions about LG Polymers and ask you a few questions based on the letter that you have written to the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy, and it's in the public domain. But before I ask you questions related to what you've written, I'm just giving you information that I picked up from news agencies in the recent past. Now, we had the Secretary to the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, P.V. Ramesh. He was quoted by Bloomberg saying that they should not have restarted what was an old plant late at night. Maybe if it was done during the morning, some of this accident may have been averted. Now, this is an old plant. It was set up in 1961 as Hindustan Polymer, and it was renamed in 1997 as LG Polymers India when there was a foreign direct investment from the South Korean-based multinational corporation called LG Polymers, LG Chemicals. LG used to be an acronym for Lucky Gold Star. But this is the information that we have. The Assistant Commissioner of Police, Swarupa Rani, she's the person who apparently first got to know about it at 4 a.m. in the morning. And she said there were 2 5,000-ton tanks that were left unattended, and as a result of which there was a chemical reaction. And the third bit of information that I picked up is from Srijana Gumalla, the commissioner of the Greater Vizag Municipal Corporation, telling Reuters that about 1,500 have been evacuated from the venue. So this is bits and pieces of information that have come from official sources. Would you like to add to that?
This is highly speculative. I went through the documents which are available at the website of LG Polymers. And now there are, according to some information, the gas that has leaked is pentane. Pentane is a high calorific value uh, carbon hydrogen molecule, which is actually a part of this cooking gas we use. So it is a very highly explosive gas. And this gas actually affects the eyes and the nose, the lungs, and the skin. So if you take excessive doses, people can choke and even die. It can be lethal. But then there are some people, some scientists with whom I have spoken. They say it could be styrene gas, which is much more poisonous. But I would much rather wait for a forensic examination of the whole thing, and then only we'll know the facts. But one thing I must say, in the last 5 years, as a citizen of Visakhapatnam, I have witnessed at least about 30 to 40 major accidents, industrial accidents. This happened in the north of Andhra Pradesh, Srikakulam, Vijayanagaram, Visakhapatnam districts. And every time workers lost their lives, the nearby residents were affected. And I have been asking the government to take action against the promoters of the industry for criminal negligence, senior management, and also the officers in the state government who are supposed to exercise surveillance, on industrial safety and pollution. But there has been no response whatsoever. And I would also say one thing: this is a time when the Ministry of Environment in Government of India has been rapidly, in a great deal of undue haste. They have actually started relaxing procedures for environment clearance for many of these drug companies, chemical industries, drug units, which is not prudent at all. And in the name of easing business, they are relaxing these procedures.
That's right. Ease of doing business. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Sharma, the information that's come to me is that this particular plant, LG Polymers, which is LG Polymers India, it was making polystyrene, which is a very versatile form of plastic. It's used for a wide range of products: fiberglass, latex, containers for food processing, laboratory ware, making blades of electric fans, cups and cutlery, containers for cosmetics, toys, all kinds of appliances. So it was clearly making a product which had a wide range of applications. The information that has come is that styrene, which is used in the production of polystyrene plastics and resins, has a colorless, sweet smell. And if there is an acute short-term exposure to styrene in human beings, it leads to mucus, it affects the mucous membrane, the eye irritation, gastrointestinal effects. There are risks of cancer, leukemia, and so on and so forth. We do not know whether this gas is as deadly as MIC, methyl isocyanate, which was the gas that was leaked out in December 1984 in Bhopal, which is often described as the world's biggest industrial disaster, the Union Carbide plant. And we know that at least 3,500 people died, and even today, over 100,000 people are supposed to be affected. We don't know whether this LG Polymers leak of gas, what its scale of it, but it clearly seems that we in this country do not seem to have learned the lessons of the past.
Absolutely. Because about 6-7 years ago, when there was a similar accident at one of these private chemical units south of Visakhapatnam, about 60 miles, we could have done a complete examination, identified the loopholes, and drawn lessons. But I don't find any such evidence anywhere. And every time there is an accident, they talk of a safety audit, but that safety audit report is not divulged to the public. There should be a public discussion on this. Now, I was surprised in this LG Polymers case from the documents I find that sometime around 2018 end or beginning of 19, the Andhra Pradesh Pollution Control Board, they've got an Andhra Pradesh State Environment Appraisal Authority. So this particular proposal to expand the unit and for producing engineering plastics, as they call it. So this unit, when the proposal went to the authority, there was a discussion and they said, no, this is a large unit. So this particular proposal should go to the Ministry of Environment. But subsequently, very surprisingly, the same pollution control board issued two clearances to this particular company. One is a consent for establishment, CFE, and another a consent for operation, CFO, with some conditions. Now, I'm really surprised as to why this particular proposal was not apprised by the Central Ministry of Environment. So it looks as though there was a lot of pressure on the Andhra Pradesh Pollution Control Board. They should have conducted a public hearing in that area, and they should have given all the details to the public. There's a residential area, number of villages are there, and after recording the objections of the people, their fears and all, they should have really, corrected incorporated some conditions for safety. That was obviously not done.
In our next segment, we look at the raids at the house of Dr. Zafrul Islam Khan, the head of the Delhi Minorities Commission, in connection with his sedition charge. Why is this well-known man who occupies a key position in Delhi being persecuted? We spoke to our correspondent Tariq. Tariq, thank you so much for joining us. So could you give us the context in which Dr. Zafrul Islam Khan was questioned and raid was conducted in his house?
Yes, he had recently put out a tweet thanking the Kuwait authorities for acting tough on Hindutva bigots who are spreading Islamophobia living on the Arab land. So he had praised the steps recently taken by the Gulf authorities, different countries of the Gulf, and especially the Kuwait. And the tweet was very long. In last sentence of the tweet, he had said that the day they are pushed to do that, bigots will face an avalanche. This particular sentence was blown out of proportion, and it was widely discussed on the quote unquote mainstream media. Now, following which a complaint by an individual resident of Vasant Kunj was filed at Safdarjung Enclave Police Station, which was later and in response to that complaint, and FIR was registered at the police station, which was later transferred to the special cell of the Delhi police for investigation. Dr. Khan has been booked under sedition, 124A sedition. And one thing which is notable is that Dr. Zafrul Islam Khan, being a veteran journalist, he used to edit an English fortnightly, the Milli Gazette. He is presently chairperson of the Delhi Minority Commission. So, according to him, he is saying that when we spoke to him with regard to the raid conducted last evening, just before Iftar, he said that it is being done to malign his candidature so that he is denied second term in office. One more thing, when the police conducted raid, he alleged that he was not served any prior notice. Secondly, his lawyer Vrinda Grover went to the media, went on record and told the policemen who had come there that he cannot be taken anywhere, he cannot be taken to any police station for any purpose of questioning or investigation, because as per 160 CRPC, he is more than 72 years old. He is suffering from, he's a cardiac patient. He is suffering from all other age-related ailments, and he is very vulnerable to COVID-19. So he cannot be taken anywhere for investigation. And this 164 CRPC says that any person who has crossed the age limit of 65 years cannot be compelled or taken to any police station for any kind of investigation. The policemen, if they want to appeal that person. They will have to come to the place of that person, and he cannot be compelled to come for investigation anywhere. So this happened last evening. The the when the message is spread out that his residence is being raided, a large crowd gathered there. Ex Okhla MLA, because he lives in a posh locality of Okhla called Abul Fazal Enclave. So when the message was flashed that his house is being raided, several people thronged over there, and two MLAs, one Asif Mohammed Khan, the previous MLA, the former MLA of the Congress party, and the mm, uh, the the sitting MLA, Amanatullah Khan, also visited there. And so finally, the police had to leave, asking him to join the investigation. And they were told that whatever will be spoken, it will be spoken after the police serves him a notice. Before that, no investigation and nothing can be carried out. One more thing is there. According to since Dr. Khan is the chairperson of the Delhi Minority Commission, it is interesting to note that TMC Act, Delhi Minority Commission Act 1999, provides some kind of protection to its chairperson and other members. It would be noticing, or it would be seen that whether the police got that permission from permission to prosecute him, or to question him under the protection provided by the DMC Act. So there is no clarification from the government, because Delhi Minority Commission is the wing of Delhi government, and it's a political appointment, and it will be seen later what is the role of the Delhi government in the entire episode.
Right. Thank you so much, Tariq, for talking to us. That's all we have in this episode of Let's Talk. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest news developments of the day. Until then, keep watching NewsClick.